Welcome to another season that's quickly being flushed down the drain. Miami Dolphins are 1-5 after Sunday's 29-27 fourth quarter, and we should really say final minute loss to the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm Omar Kelly, Miami Herald columnist. Joining me is Isaiah Smalls, Miami Herald beat writer. Isaiah, let me just say this. How many game-winning drives should you expect from a quarterback each week?
One for real. Two at the most, right? But like to ask for three is a little bit much. Especially, I'm okay. Let me take a step back. If the quarterback is elite, I want as many as it requires, right?
Yeah, but how often should we need to do it and do it? And last week against Carolina Panthers, Tua scores a touchdown, gets them the lead. The Dolphins are handed the game. I think it was like 4 minutes left on the game clock. And basically, you need a third down stop. Obviously, we saw what happened with Jack Jones, blah, blah, blah. It's snowballs downhill, and, you lose. Okay. Yeah. Let's fast forward because we corrected all that. We addressed it. We know we got to play collective team football. This week, Dolphins play a mediocre game.
Yeah.
Find a way to get the lead in the fourth quarter. After Tua rallies the team back from how much was the deficit?
They were down 14.
20 down 26-13. I'm sorry.
Yeah, 26-13.
26-13. Who was leading the Yeah, they were down 26-13.
Yeah.
And Tua rallies the team back by, scoring 14 points. Basically, final drive, scores a 7-yard touchdown pass to Darren Waller in the back of the end zone. After driving the team the length of the field, 83 yards on 13 plays. I don't know if we can ask for more. I don't know. That's kind of what you want from your quarterback, right?
That's true. That's true. But this loss, I think he said it perfectly after. There was the one statement, one of the few statements I agree with him for after the loss is that like it's frustrating because 1 week it might be me making a mistake. The next week might be the defense making a mistake.
Next week is
next week special teams, because this week it was definitely a mix of special teams and defense, right? Like the minute that when they got the kick return and they took it to like the 40, I said, okay, so they only have to go 20 yards to really be in field goal range, have an actual shot at it. And then obviously, I don't know what I can't wait to watch the film later today because I want to see what happened on that final, the two passes, because the first one that Justin Herbert had, where to me it looked like it was a sack, and then all of a sudden I just saw the ball fly out, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Then you have Zach Sealer celebrated like he got a sack, and I was like, I don't know if you got that, but. And then the second one just was rather unfortunate. Like you just gotta get the man down. Like, and this is a story that I had in my back of my brain for at least a week, and it's just a game of inches, right? Like inches. Like
that's the Any Given Sunday speech. Yeah, I live by that.
It's insane because just the chances like that they have to bring a quarterback down. It changes the game entirely.
It's funny that you say that because for those who don't know, the Dolphins lost 29-27 after the Chargers got the ball back with 46 seconds left. Special teams allowed them to get a kick return to the 40. And then, obviously, I think it was on third down. Herbert throws that pass to it was a second down, McConkey, and he slips a tackle from Dante Trader, a rookie, and drives down, puts them in field goal territory. They win the game. Now, that's so Dolphins. This is what happens. That's why we have the term "that's so Dolphins." 25 years of "that's so Dolphins."
Just one quick thing, like as the person writing the game story, you have to make a decision in the final moments. Like, okay, what side you're going? Am I gonna go to a heroics and
don't tell people how the sausage get made. Don't tell people how the sausage gets made.
I will say this.
Which way did you go? Which way did you go?
When he threw the touchdown pass, I was like, yeah, they're not gonna win this game still. I knew it. I just knew
really?
it.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. That's when I started writing that, like, oh yeah, his defense is gonna collapse. Kid you not, swear to God.
Okay, so you knew. All right. Yeah, listen.
Yeah. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel like
46 seconds left. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
Herbert
seemed like
is
a lot
not
of
that
time.
quarterback. I'm sorry. Herbert is not that quarterback that drives, he's not Josh Mahomes. He's not
Josh
Allen.
Mahomes? Who's Josh Mahomes?
Josh Allen. Sorry. Josh Allen. Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I put it together. I don't even put Joe Burrow in that conversation. I
was only a few. Matt Stafford's one of those guys.
Matt Stafford is one of those guys. Yeah. I mean, but you give a guy 46 seconds, you never know what's going to happen. And they talk about that. I learned this lesson. I think it was probably the 2013 season, could be 2014 season. It was Cameron Wake who was giving me a lecture about you never know what play it's going to be that's going to cost you the game, but there's going to be a play. And the point is, you got to make that play. And it could be a play you miss. It could be a play you make. Like, it could have been Jalen Waddle's, the interception that Jalen Waddle gave up.
Look, there's a few of those.
It could have been a field goal that Patterson.
There was the holds that I think Brew had, where it was a second and long, and they converted. They had to call that back.
He's pulling the jersey. Yep.
Illegal hands to the face, Larry Borum on third down. That was, I believe, a pass to Waller that converted. Got to get called back. You put your team behind the sticks like that, third and 18, second and 18. And the thing is,
when you add up everybody who missed, Patterson missed a field goal. Tua throws an interception. The illegal hands to the face, the holding penalty, the Jalen Phillips not being able to get the defender down. The Dolphins missed a ton of sacks in that game. Ton of sacks. Sacks are drive killers. You can't keep missing sacks like that. When you add all those things up, it produces a bad team. And I don't know, before we could say at 0-1, we could say, they got beat by a good team. We underestimated Colts. Colts are a good team. No disrespect.
No. I'm just saying. I'm just wondering where you're going with this. Go ahead, keep going. How many weeks? How many weeks do you?
Yeah. That's my point. That's my point. Week 2, you collapsed. Week 3, you fell short against Buffalo on the road. But you were proud of that win. Week 4, you played an inferior team.
Wait. They were proud of the win, but kept
saying
proud of the
loss.
But they kept saying, "Well, there's no room for moral victories. There's no more room for moral victories."
But they realized that they could play. Let's be real about it. They were like, "Yo, we could play with the big dogs. All right, we could play with the big dogs."
And then what happened?
Then they beat the Jets. Then they came home and beat the Jets, and the Jets kept giving them the ball. And
the 0-6 Jets. Yes,
they beat the 0-6 Jets. Yeah, they better than the 0-6 Jets. You know what I'm saying? Pop your collar. Then Carolina, Tua throws what should have been a game-winning touchdown, and defense needs to do their job. Defense fails to do their job. You walk away with an L. And to be honest with you, you should have beaten an injury-depleted Chargers team that found a way to pretty much do whatever they wanted to on offense, and you didn't. And you know why you didn't? Because you're not a good team. And at what point do you think it's able to be processed in their head that this isn't us just being unfortunate? This is us being who we are, which is a bad team.
I'm gonna say something that a player told me after the Buffalo game. I think we had this conversation. I think I told you the player, but I'm not gonna say the player's name right now. He said that something to the effect of, "I've been on teams where it's good enough, where we're good enough, where we can kind of roll the balls out, right? And when we facing a team like the Jets, like the Panthers, it's okay. Like it's stats padding time, right? Like I'm gonna go try for some interceptions. I'm gonna go try we don't necessarily have to be on the same page throughout the entire game, right?
We could just make enough plays.
He said this is not that team. We have to be 100% on all of our assignments. Everyone has to know the call, or else
they don't have any
there's nothing we can do.
Yeah,
there's nothing we can do.
There are probably two difference makers on this team, and I'll name Devon Achane is a difference maker.
Yes, of course, yeah.
He's balling. And Darren Waller's probably a difference maker. You don't have any difference makers on defense.
Yeah.
You don't have any Tua. I like Tua, but is Tua a killer? He's not.
No.
He's not.
No.
But he did take a life. That person didn't die, but he did put a killer drive together. Now, if you want to go and second guess that drive, what they should have not scored so fast.
And that was the only thing I could say. But you're debating, like, it's just semantics at this point. Like, I'm not gonna knock him for not scoring the touch of the game when he put potential game winning touchdown. I'm not gonna knock
it's not easy to do that. It's not
exactly
easy to do that. When you can do that, you do that.
Especially with when that play was breaking down, and it's like, okay, like, what's going on? And then I saw Darren Wall over there in the end zone, like, okay, can he get it there?
Hey, listen,
I'm not knocking it for that.
First time probably all season in a critical moment I saw Tua have good protection. And I don't know. I need to look up whether or not they max protected on that play, because some like the Jalen Waddle play, straight max protection. There were two. The Jalen Waddle touchdown against Carolina. There were two players available to Tua: Jalen Waddle and the running back that was the check down. Two. And
two players is crazy.
When think about this. Think about how bad your protection has to be when you're a play caller in a critical moment and you're saying, you know what? I can't trust that we're going to have the quarterback protected. So we're going two tight ends, fullback, and one receiver and one back. And we are going to have two options on this play for Tua. That's how bad this team is protection-wise. But with that said, against a Chargers team that lost their top pass rusher, Tua had time that day. Tua had time. That final drive, he wasn't tremendously harassed. Was it good? Nah, but it wasn't. He had a comfortable pocket, got the job done. Now, on the defensive side of things and special teams, because can't let them off the hook. Because I'm thinking to myself, even when they kick the ball, I would have just kicked the ball. No, I guess you got to make time run. So you want the return. But man, come on. You want time to run, so you want the return.
Dirty ball. They pulled the dirty ball out earlier in the game, and you should have pulled it out there. So that's going to make
what if you miss the dirty ball?
The dirty ball was good. It looked good the drive before, or not. Maybe not the exact drive.
But you can't always replicate that, man. You can't. But anyway, let's. Here's the thing. This defense is the 30th defense in the NFL. It's been a consistently disappointing unit. I am at the point, and I have a lot of respect for Anthony Weaver. I have a ton of respect for Anthony Weaver. But I'm at the point, people are like, somebody needs to be fired. Somebody needs to be fired. Well, the person who's doing their job the worst is the guy most people want to become the interim head coach, Anthony Weaver. And while I don't support firing anybody right now, right this minute, like that's I ain't crazy. Talking about after next week or after Atlanta, right this minute, I don't support anybody being fired. But if I was going to take somebody's job, it would be Anthony Weaver, because he's not getting the job done. Oh yeah. What? I acknowledge that they played better for majority of the game against the Chargers. But what happened?
They still can't stop the run. Missed tackles. But how much of this, again, like I just shot in the dark. How much of this is Anthony Weaver scheme related versus player personnel, missed tackles? Like and that's the question.
It's everything.
I constantly find myself wondering, like, is this on Anthony Weaver? Because it's not like you're going out there and making the tackles for these guys, right? You can't do that. all he can do is put you in the best position to succeed, right? And
but
so
is he calling the right plays? Is he calling the right coverages? Why is Dante Trader covering McConkey? Answer that question.
That's a good point.
And yes, they is personnel the reason why you can't stop the run? Absolutely. But I haven't seen you try everything. Like, I'm sorry. If Zeke Biggers has played and I saw that he can't get the job done either, and I understand that you can't demote your first round pick and everybody and he actually had a decent game. So let me
he did. He did.
He had a decent game. Him and Jonah. Let's put some respect on their names. Jonah did give up a sack, but Jonah in one sack, that's a good game for me. At this point, let's be real about it. Hold on, let's be real about it.
Yeah, at this point, I just need
At this point, if I could count on you to just have one bad play, I'll take it. I'll give you 3 bad plays, not like 12. 3, you give me 3.
Yeah,
but the personnel is bad. The play calling is bad. We have now played 6 games. You have not been able to stop the run in any of the 6 games. Any of the 6 games. And I think we're on our game number 3 where the defense has fallen apart at the end of the game.
This game, Panthers, what's the other one?
The Buffalo? Do we count Buffalo? No.
Those Buffalo and New England, I'm putting on Tua, to be honest. So
okay. I'll take it.
Yeah, it's even now.
Yeah. Okay. The question is, how do they get out of this hole? And unfortunately, for we'll talk about Tua and his comments. I wish we had the video to share with you, but we don't. More than likely, you've likely seen them because the national media has jumped on it. I hate when people take things out of context and don't factor in the entire nature of the conversation. Because
it was your question.
It was my question. Yes.
Explain. You should explain.
People are like, he's calling out leadership. Well, the question was specifically asking him about leadership and what are the leaders and the team captains going to do to handle this bleed out of confidence and checks and balances. And this is not the first time Tua has had to address that with me. Tua, and I'm sure Tua knows, I'm very critical from the beginning when they were building this team about the leadership on this team, because you can't lose a Teron Armstead and a Calais Campbell and think you just gonna be we all right. We gonna be all right. You don't lose alpha dogs like Jalen Ramsey and just be like, all right, we'll figure it out. Like, It don't work like that. It do not work like that. And I have a ton of respect for the guys who have stepped up: Jordan Brooks, Tua, Aaron Brewer, Zach Sealer. I could, Minka Fitzpatrick, maybe sometimes. We'll figure that out. I have tons of respect for the guys who have stepped up. But the reality is, does this team have leaders? Do they have alpha dogs? Bradley Chubb, I shouldn't have excluded him. Does this Chubb team have leaders? Do they have alpha dogs? Not really. And in these moments, Tyreek was an alpha dog. In these moments, you need your alpha dogs. Now you're in the hands of Jalen. Darren Waller might be an alpha dog. I don't know him well enough to say whether or not, but 4 touchdowns, pretty impressive. I'll take that right now. You know what I'm saying? But Tua basically called out some of his teammates for understand. It's not a player only. We're in a crisis. We're having a meeting. Every player needs to show up and we can air things out and talk things out. That's not what we're talking about. We are talking about positional meetings where Tua has meetings with his wide receivers and his weaponry, and Tua also has meetings with his offensive linemen. And he's talking about protection issues. He's talking about routes. He's talking about audibles, and the defense has these meetings on their own as well. These are not coach-involved meetings. These are players meeting to talk about what they think and what they do and film study and, private conversations that players. Now, as Barry Jackson reported for the Miami Herald, there have been defensive line meetings where they've actually called in the coaches and they want the coaches to contribute to them as well. That's a totally separate subject. But what Tua is talking about is players are showing up late, and sometimes players are not showing up because a lot of these meetings happen after practice. Like I know Tua's receiver meeting usually happens on Thursdays after practice, and they go over things that they need to go over. I don't want to, people are criticizing Tua for basically criticizing his teammates publicly, and a lot of players are or former players are taking issue with that. I understand where they're coming from. Now, obviously, everybody calls me a Tua apologist, but I know what the context of the question was because I asked the question, and I know the answer that he was trying or did deliver, which is, okay, we want to talk about being accountable. Okay, well, the next step is everybody showing up on time for these voluntary player-only meetings. Next step is, do we need to make them mandatory? Like you shouldn't, if you are a 1-5 team and the quarterback's calling a meeting and you're a receiver who doesn't show up, how does that look?
Okay, but my point is, what does that mean, right? Like, not my point, but what do you think that says? If a receiver, if you tell, because I'm gonna flip it, right? If you tell me, right, hey, Isaiah, like I need you to, we got to do it, like record an extra podcast, right? And I don't show up, or I'm like 20 minutes late, right? What do you think that says about how I feel about you?
You don't respect me. You ain't buy in. You ain't buy in, and hell, you might not buy in because you're not being paid enough. You might not buy in because why you got to do an extra podcast? You might not buy in for whatever reason.
That's fair.
You understand what I'm saying? Or you ain't playing. You ain't get to write the centerpiece story. You might be in your feelings about something. That's on you. But it's still, as a leader, I gotta check you. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. But I'd be hard pressed to say that Tua is talking about someone that is not playing. Because if you're not playing, I don't think it's necessarily as important for you to show.
Why is it not? Why is it not?
Because you're not playing. Like if I'm gonna be honest,
if everybody isn't buying in and everybody isn't, like, that's the problem that you have, which is why you're 1-5. Like, and let's be real about it. And y'all know who I am, and y'all know, like, the first 5 games of the season, everybody put the blame on the rookies. Like, oh, rookies, eventually they're gonna come around. The rookies are struggling. Whatever. It ain't just rookies out there making mistakes, and coaches have addressed that. Now, it makes it worse when the veterans are out there making mistakes with the rookie. Like, but the reality is, they're like, okay, the rookies need time. All right, cool. We gave the rookies time. They still got 2 more games in my eyes before it's time to lay the smack down. But when the veterans are out there not delivering on plays, like, did Bradley Chubb play? How about Chop Robinson? Did he play?
He did play. Definitely played as well.
I don't remember him.
Chop got held on that Lad McConkey throw, so I saw that. He definitely got held on that. But that's not the here though. I understand what you're saying. I just hope, for the sake of the chemistry of this team, that conversation that Tua had was internal first. That he told the guy, "Hey, you don't think he did that?" And so then I'm
just guessing. Let me not speculate, but
yeah, that's kind of why now I have to switch my side to being on the side of the former players criticizing, because I'd be damned if there was an opportunity for you to have a one-on-one conversation with me and instead you took it in front of the entire world. Like that to me that's not okay. I don't like that. That's not okay.
I
At least come to address it with me.
I apologize. I shouldn't have took it to the entire world.
Okay. let's I'm not even talking about that. But I'm saying this. Like I don't know, man. Like I feel they're all like we're all men. Like in that locker room, they might be younger men, early 20s, but they're men. And so to me, it is a important for communication is always important, right? But it's in the most important when there's issues, right? And if I can't trust you to come to me man to man, one-on-one, and instead of taking it outside and throwing me under the bus in front of all these people that
I ain't named nobody.
You're right. But you knew it. But you knew who he's talking about.
You showed up late. You showed up late. If you didn't check in, if you not, and that's the thing. That's part of the problem. I believe that this team came into this season knowing the pressure that's placed on them as players to save everybody's job, and they could not handle that pressure from get-go, from start. And we're just watching the snowball effect here. Bad leadership, bad roster personnel, playing young players who really shouldn't be playing, but you know why they're playing, because it's not about now, it's about the future. Do you feel like this franchise is at a healthy spot as a player in the organization? Most players would say, hell no.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
This is the culture that you created as an organization. So now, if I'm not all the way bought in or checked in, who can blame me? Like, okay, we're doing it for one another. You remember, the culture has changed. Oh, we're now talking and holding each other accountable. You know, we're saying things out loud. Okay, you remember those conversations? Didn't Tua just do that? And
no, because he said it out loud, outwardly, instead of saying it out loud. Like, I think it's you receive better, you make more flies with honey than you do vinegar, right? You saying that, having that conversation outside of the walls of that locker room is vinegar. To me, if you really wanted to get the situation right, I think you say it in front of the entire team. And if that doesn't work, you talk to whoever is the head of his position group too, and say, "Yo, get your mans," right? And if those two things don't work, then and only then is it okay to say it in front of the media, right? But I cannot confidently say, right, that those conversations were had internally before they were had externally, right? That to me is a problem. That to me is 100% a problem because you shouldn't be airing your dirty laundry outside.
Definitely. We will be back, man. This is gonna be a long season, and I will tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. This is my line. Cleveland is my line. Don't beat Cleveland. We getting the foot out. We getting the foot out, and foot gonna be in backsides. All right. On that note, Dolphins in Depth, we are out, and we will be here on Wednesday to give you a wrap up. Hopefully, the Dolphins walked out of this game healthy, and we'll get Tyrell Dodson back. We will see and keep you up to date on Dolphins in Depth podcast provided to you by the Miami.